Hello, darkness, my old friend. You've come to talk with me again. Sens lose 4-0 to the New Jersey Devils. Well, Alice Cooper said it best. Welcome to my nightmare. Full disclosure, I told you the other day that I like to write down what I say. Well, today's gonna be a little different. Sens management doesn't like to put any effort in and likes to fly by the seat of their pants, so we're gonna do the same thing. I haven't written anything down, we're just gonna say whatever comes to my mind. If they can't put an effort in, why should I? Last night was awful. But I have to say, I'm kind of glad that happened. No Stone, no Duchesne, no Dzingel, and the Sens get destroyed. They stink when those guys are in the lineup, but oh boy, it's bad when they're not. Melnyk, Dorion, McTavish, Boucher, they all learned last night what it means when they don't have Stone, Duchesne, and Dzingel in the lineup. Lesson learned, guys. Now sign them. 2 more years of this garbage is not going to be good for the organization, the players, or the fans. The fans love the team, but they're not going to put up with this garbage forever. The players get paid and make millions of dollars to play in the NHL, but even they aren't going to want to be in this market. And the organization's going to have no money and it's going to stink because nobody wants to play here and nobody wants to spend any money. Maybe sign those players and avoid this never-ending circle? As always though, let's kick things off with lineup changes. I made quick reference to it earlier, and with the Sens unsure what's going to happen with Stone, Duchesne, and Dzingel, they elected to scratch all 3. Now, I can't say that I was too pleased to hear that the Sens' top 3 forwards were all being scratched, but the truth is, I actually kind of liked the decision. Yeah, it sucked not having them on the ice, but it was smart. Could you imagine if one of them, or 2 of them, or all 3 of them got hurt in one of the next few games, wasn't able to be traded, and then left in the summer for nothing? I know the odds of that are pretty small, but let's be honest, if it's going to happen to anyone, it's going to happen to the Sens. So with those 3 out of the lineup, the club needed to make a number of roster moves. With so many missing bodies from the lineup, Darren Archibald and Philip Chalapik were recalled from Belleville to fill in. With those 2 drawing in, the Sens reverted back to 11-7, and Cody Golubeff drew in as the extra skater. In goal, Anders Nilsson got his 7th straight start, as Guy Boucher looked to help the netminder quickly forget about a poor start in Chicago on Monday. But things didn't exactly get off to the greatest of starts for Nilsson, or for the Sens, who were outshot 14-4 in the first period. The Devils also scratched a pair of players in the lead up to the deadline, as Marcus Johansson and Ben Lovejoy were scratched, but that didn't seem to stop the Devils. The Devils have some early chances, but can't find the back of the net, and finally, just past the midway mark of the period, they draw first blood. Miles Wood fires a point shot towards the goal. Zajac tips it in front. Nilsson gets a big chunk of it, but not all of it. It trickles behind him, rolls over the goal line, and the Devils lead 1-0. Can someone tie up the stick in front? Same old, same old. And not even 3 minutes later, the Devils strike again. Santini fires a slap shot on goal. Nilsson never sees it. It gets by him, and the Devils lead 2-0. Don Cherry would be irate. Nobody covered the point, and nobody really did anything about boxing out in front of the net either. Just typical Ottawa Senators defense. Nilsson holds the fort the rest of the way, keeping the Sens in the game as we head to the first intermission, with Ottawa trailing 2-0. But things quickly go from bad to worse in the second. The Sens have an early power play, can't convert, and the Devils come right back down the ice and make it 3-0. Senny wins the faceoff back to Gabriel, he fires a shot on goal, it beats Nilsson, and it's 3-0 Devils. And what do you know? That's Gabriel's first NHL goal, because of course it is! May as well just keep piling on, because it's not like Sens fans have it bad enough. There'll be more firsts before this game is over, too. And of course, right before the trade deadline, Anders Nilsson plays 2 of his worst games as a Sen. Everything's coming up Senators today! In all honesty though, can they ever get any kind of a break? I mean, the puck literally bounced off Nilsson's glove and went in. He has to stop that. That's 2 of the first 3 goals now that Nilsson has got a large chunk of, but watched it trickle in. That just can't keep happening. And if you like Sens fans' misery, you'd really love what comes next. With just over 5 minutes left in the period, The Devils make it 4-0. Green carries the puck up the wall in the Sens zone and drops it for Severson. He sends a pass into the middle of the ice to Miles Wood. He one-times one by Nilsson, and it's 4-0. I'm not even going to complain about Ottawa's defense on this one. There's just no point. They're not even playing it. I'm a little scatterbrained, so I'll throw this in now, and I just noticed it watching the condensed highlights on NHL's YouTube page. A special shout out to the color commentator for the New Jersey Devils. He reminds me of a 1980s WWE commentator. Like, seriously, listen to him. He's kind of like Gorilla Monsoon or something. Or maybe Jesse the Body Ventura. But he's definitely someone from the WWE in the 80s. Fortunately, the Devils show the Sens some mercy, and the Sens can't score because they don't have their top three forwards, and we get to the end of the second period with the Devils in front 4-0. Both teams have some chances, neither can find the back of the net, as the post bails out Nilsson, and Schneider is terrific at his end of the ice, and the Devils skate away with a 4-0 win. Of course, the Sens had to get shut out against the Devils. Oh, Corey Schneider hasn't won a game in a year. Oh, well, by golly gee, he won a game. I guess we can't break that streak. But wait a minute. There is one streak we can break. Corey Schneider hasn't had a shutout since November 2017? Well, here you go. Here's one on a silver platter. Ottawa is just the kings at this kind of thing. It's so irritating. Hey, Sens management, can you hear that? That's the sound of an angry mob coming after you with pitchforks. Sens fans aren't happy, and they have every reason not to be. Let's just get into good news, bad news before I say something I'll regret. The Sens got hammered last night, and that is the good news. I kind of mentioned it off the beginning, but I'm actually kind of happy that Ottawa lost last night. No Stone, no Duchesne, no Dzingel, no chance. The NHL isn't like the NBA in the sense that, in the NBA, one star player can carry an entire team, while the NHL, it is still a star-driven league. No Stone, no Duchesne, no Dzingel means no stars. Except maybe Shabbat and Kachuk and maybe White, but those guys are trying to become stars. Who's gonna show them the way? You need some of those star players to stick around, to show the young guys the way, and to give Ottawa somebody competent in their lineup. Last night was a small glimpse into what the rest of the season is going to hold without those three, and it's not a good sign. The Sens got hammered last night because their big three weren't in the lineup, and that should show the Sens that they need to sign these guys, and that is the good news. Now, for the bad news. As a Sens fan, I've been burned a lot. I no longer have faith in the management, and I certainly do not trust ownership. You can call me a terrible fan or whatever you want, but being a Sens fan for as long as I've been a Sens fan, I have every right and reason to feel this way. The Sens didn't play their good players last night and were hammered. And that's good news. But the bad news is, I don't trust that management is actually going to look at it and say, boy, we better sign some of these guys if we don't want to be historically bad. And that is the bad news. Ownership doesn't care. Management doesn't care. Nobody cares. Players can come and go. Doesn't matter. We'll just find some cheaper guy to come in. He's not as good, but he'll fill the spot. Oh, fans don't want to show up? That's your fault. We're leaving. Like, give me a break. You need good players. You need to sign them. You want to use the excuse they don't want to be here? Fine. I'll accept that. And to be brutally honest with you, I don't blame them for not wanting to be there. And that's the problem. Why doesn't anybody want to be in Ottawa? Because ownership and management is garbage. They can't be trusted. It seems like they never tell the truth. And it doesn't seem like they actually care about icing a competitive or competent hockey team. All that matters is money. Except the problem is we're stuck in a never-ending circle where they never make any money because they refuse to ice a good team. And fans say, well, to heck with that. I'm not supporting a garbage team that makes no effort. And then they make no money. Ottawa's management and ownership isn't smart enough to look at last night and say, hey, we need to keep some of these guys because without them, we're historically bad. And that is the bad news. Next up, the Sens return home following a 4-game road trip when they welcome the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. The contest will be the second of 3 meetings on the season between the two teams, with the Blue Jackets currently leading 1-0 thanks to a 6-3 win in Columbus on December 31st. Columbus comes into the contest a little streaky of late, as they've lost 3 of 4 following a 4-game winning streak. They also come into the contest desperate for points, as they sit 1 point behind Carolina for the playoff spot in the East, with 2 games in hand. Keep Panarin off the board and pick up a win. See you later tonight.